Vice News wrote a big piece 2 days ago. Let's put this up there on the screen. Headline: Elon Musk spoke to Putin before tweeting Ukraine peace plan, report. Now let's all take a lot of notice of that colon and report.
That report is doing a lot of work there.
So they have a declarative headline where they say that this happened. Now their source for this is where things get sketchy. They said that the report comes from Ian Bremmer, who is not a journalist. Ian Bremmer, it's hard to describe him. Pundit, international affairs explainer to the neoliberal elite. He kind of runs a global information firm where rich people pay him to figure out geopolitics and tell him the inside scoop of what's going on. All right, that's the best way. He's made himself fantastic.
Washington Insider type.
More like global insider. Like he's always on the phone with world leaders and all these other people, and he has a big profile on MSNBC, etc. My point is that he's not a journalist, so that's why it's a little bit sketchy, and he has been caught in the past kind of massaging the facts when trying to push a narrative in a certain direction in order to fit his worldview. Anyway, so all of this goes back to Ian Bremmer. Now, Ian Bremmer apparently wrote in an email to his subscribers, his paywalled subscribers, that Musk had told him that Putin was prepared to negotiate, but only if Crimea remained Russian, if Ukraine accepted a form of neutrality, if Ukraine accepted the Russian annexation. According to Bremmer, Musk had said that Putin had told him these goals, that they accomplished no matter what. Now, what's weird, though, is that Bremmer claimed that that conversation with Musk had happened 2 weeks before. So way before the Twitter poll. So allegedly, in Bremmer's timeline, Musk has spoken to Putin in some undetermined period of time, 2 or 3 weeks ago, then decides to just tweet this out of the blue. And then this was picked up as confirmation that Elon, whenever he was proposing his peace deal, which by the way, was on Twitter as a poll, it was stupid in its own right, but let's put that aside, that he was spouting, quote, Russian talking points, not his own feelings about what's happened. So it was tweeted to great acclaim, proof that Elon is an asset, foreign asset, why he should be prosecuted as the Hatch Act, all this stuff.
Jesus.
But then something crazy happened. Elon denied it. Let's put this on the screen. So he comes out, someone said, Elon, is this true? He says, no, it's not. I have spoken to Putin only once. That was 18 months ago. The subject matter was space. Now that's where things got really interesting because I mean, you tell me what you think, Krystal. It's possible Elon is just straight up lying, that he did speak to Putin or not. I personally, though, find it very hard to believe, given the fact that if it had happened, I have almost zero doubt that the NSA would have leaked that at the time. Remember Michael Flynn, whenever they were monitoring his communications with a national security advisor, or with the Russian ambassador? Yeah. I just have to believe, and maybe I'm naive, but the intelligence services are monitoring every phone call that the Kremlin takes from basically the entire world, and specifically the West.
Yeah.
And if it were to involve the world's richest man, I think that phone call, especially if he denied it, was going to be leaked by the intelligence services. I don't personally see a world where you could lie about that and get away with it. Anyway, then what happened is Ian Bremmer now is sticking by his story, but he's massaging facts a little bit. Let's put this on the screen. He says, Elon told me he had spoken with Putin and that the Kremlin talked directly about Ukraine. He also said that he knew what the Kremlin's red lines were. I've been writing my weekly newsletter on geopolitics for 24 years. I write honestly without fear or favor. This week's update was no different. I've long admired Musk as a unique and world-changing entrepreneur, which I've said publicly. He's not a geopolitics expert. Also,
and I think Musk replied to that.
Musk replied and said, nobody should trust Bremmer. And then the Kremlin was asked, they said, hey, have you ever talked to Elon Musk? And they're like, no, we've never talked to Elon Musk. So anyway, look, untrustworthy characters all around.
Yeah, well, I don't
know what happened.
I don't have much to say about this because I don't trust any of these people.
That's the problem.
I think
that's why I love this story.
The only thing I could really say is that with Vice, I don't even have a problem with them reporting that Ian Bremmer is telling this to his basically elite audience. Yeah. But it needs to be much more clear that, number one, they have not verified this. Number two, they say they reached out to Musk for comment, he didn't get back to them, whatever. But you should be leading with the fact that this is a wholly unconfirmed report authored by one dude. Right. But I don't actually have a problem with them reporting it because it is important to know what elite audiences are being told and sort of shaping their understanding of the unfolding of events. So that's basically the only thing I can say conclusively about this because I don't trust Kremlin, I don't trust Musk, I don't trust Bremmer, so who knows?
This is why journalism is very important. notice right before this, when I was describing the FSB, what did I keep saying? I was like, look, this is what the FSB says. I'm not claiming this. They have a narrative. These are untrustworthy folks.
Yes.
And here's the other side. There was none of that.
They were just like, they wanted the sensationalist headline to send everybody into a tizzy.
Which they did.
But, and the thing is that it still would have landed as because you have a lot of people who, they see Musk as a sort of like partisan figure and they see him in a certain light. So they would have assumed that it was true anyway. But you got to lead with the fact that this is a wholly unconfirmed report and soft pedal this a little bit more, whereas they were really trying to go for like the clickbaity, most sensationalist, most maximalist headline.
If you want to run that headline, you have to get confirmation from Elon Musk. You have to. You cannot say spoke to Vladimir Putin. You cannot say that. Otherwise,
I think that it's enough to just say report
you
on the end.
You have to say Ian Bremmer claims Musk spoke to Putin.
Yeah.
That's what you have. That has to be the headline. Or report, geopolitical analyst claims Musk said X. You can't just run it without confirmation or at the very least without comment. It's outrageous.
It's a he said. That's what it is. And you got to portray it as such.
And so look, we don't know. I mean, personally, here's what I think happened. I think either Musk lied to Ian Bremmer or Ian Bremmer misunderstood, and I think all of this probably happened in some weird off-the-record background conversation, and then eventually got lost in translation to the public, causing embarrassment for both men. Personally, that's my takeaway, but it is a sad
Musk is an odd communicator, so you could kind of imagine how, he was misunderstood or Bremmer heard what he wanted to hear or something like that.
Yeah, you ever listen to him on Joe Rogan? It's like he takes like 12-second. I listen to 3.5 speed, and I'm like, man, this guy's pausing a lot. So I can't even imagine what it would be at normal. Anyway, so that's a takeaway from something that you may have heard. Whether it's true or not, no clue, but it is a commentary on the press.
Anybody's guess. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.